Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where Brick is unavailable for the next 28 days because, if I recall correctly, Brick was being a jerk. And that's fine. We're going to hop into the command center here. I believe we're ready to deploy, but let's actually run through our barracks first. Okay, I'm glad I did, because Capo can grab a point of guts or piloting, and we're going to take piloting for right now. That sounds absolutely great. Gorgon, okay, what do you drive, Gorgon? Rifleman? I mean, Warlord would be good there if we remember to ever use it. So that'll be fine. We'll confirm that.
Training complete.
At the very least, we'll like the additional gunnery. So that'll be good. What else do we have here? Ah, yes, Jammer. Now, Jammer is our, I believe, Demolisher pilot? Yes. And I would very much like to get a point of gunnery and maybe to take Bandit here. Although, -1 recoil. Are vehicles affected by recoil? I don't know. But I'm guessing that they are. So if that's the case, we should probably take the focus fire here because dual AC-20s do have a lot of recoil. So I'm going to take that, assuming that vehicles are affected by recoil. Sounds good.
Training confirmed, Commander.
Next up, for Klisk here, we've got a point of guts that we can grab. Sounds great. For Magus, nothing at all. For Plato, nothing. For Romeo, we could take a point of piloting. That sounds good.
Training complete.
For Savarok, you are kind of a substitute, and you're a mech substitute. Okay, we're just going to grab some generic things here. A point of gunnery and a point of tactics. Sounds good for the moment. And Weasel Cakes, you're fine. Okay, so let's hop into the command center. We would like to make money. We're down below our 10 million nest egg target. So, 2.5 million here. An urban battle. Okay. Steiner is the op for. I wouldn't necessarily mind bringing up the Free Worlds League opinion of us. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. What are the other Free Worlds League options here? This is less payment for the same amount of salvage. Okay. And then we've got... Actually, this is a lot of payment. Not much salvage, but this is planetary government. So they're going to have low tech anyway. And this is a free priority salvage. So we can sit here and make actually quite a lot of money. Now, this is not quite going to bring us up over 10 million. But it's going to be very close. So that sounds good. We'll accept this. And that, of course, means that Brick is not going to be piloting his Epimetheus. We're going to put Savarok into that, although it's not ideal. Certainly not ideal. We'll deploy this as is. And that seems absolutely great. Darius thinks it'll be hard. Good. We want that, Darius. Confirm that, and let's go. I'll see you guys after the loading screen. Okay, so here we are, all loaded up, and let's see what we've got here. How many lances are we expecting to go against? I think probably 2, right? That's what we definitely expect. Keep an eye out for reinforcements, yeah. Strong wind around. Okay, that's fine. And enemy units are up over here in this wind farm. Okay, we could spawn here, cross this street into this cover, and advance on them up this hill. They'll have potentially some line of sight breaks here and here. That is an option. This is basically the edge of the map, so we aren't able to deploy anywhere else that's particularly good. I think here would be absolutely fine. So we'll just deploy something like this. We'll move up over here. There may or may not be reinforcements. I am expecting it. And let's see what they've got up here. Okay. We immediately see, it looks like a Marauder. Yep, that's a Marauder.
Sensor trace.
Okay,
Like
noted.
Reinforcements.
So there's reinforcements out over this way. We see a Marauder, a pair of Marauders, in fact. We see a Thunderbolt and an Apollo up here. So that's a fairly heavy lance. Down over this way, we see the reinforcement lance, including a Vulcan, an Atlas, and an Archer. Okay. So I'm thinking about how we want to deploy our forces here, right? And we've got a road leading down this way. I think that what we do is we set up our Bandersnatch somewhere out over here. I'm thinking about LOS out this way. Okay. Noted. I'm going to put our Bandersnatch here.
You betcha.
Like so. And our Grasshopper is going to head this direction. Okay. Then our crossbow, this is our LRM crossbow, is going to position right up over here, and we'll brace.
Talk to me.
Our MRM crossbow is going to head this direction.
Ready to run.
Cool. So what do they move next? I'm thinking our vehicles are going to go down this way with the Grasshopper. And our fire support will be positioned here where hopefully it can fire on both of these, is the idea.
Confirmed.
We'll see how that ends up going. So that Marauder closes in a bit. Seems good. Okay, that Archer's right up over here. Thunderbolt closes in over here. We've got lots of LOS here. Beautiful.
Your command.
The Black Knight is going to be heading this way
On my
to
way.
help fight these guys. I'm actually thinking right now just the Grasshopper and the Nidhogg heading this way. Maybe even we pivot and have everybody attack here and then turn and hit these guys. Do we think we have enough distance here? There's a unit over here we don't know about, probably, but that Atlas will take time to close in. You know what? Let's do it. If these guys are going to be obliging and they're going to give us shots on all of them, we're going to take it. So we're going to head up over this direction. That's going to be our Epimetheus. Whoa. Oh, my hands are on the wrong keys. Okay, that would help. Our Epimetheus is going to head up over here.
No shooting, just running.
And we're going to look to take these guys out incredibly quickly. So the Nidhogg is going to accelerate up over
Roger.
this way.
Full speed.
Cool. We still have spawn protection, of course. And I want to see how far did that Atlas get. There? Okay, sure.
Aye, aye.
The Devastator is... The problem here is vehicles move pretty slowly through the forest, right? But we can absolutely put it here.
Roger that.
And so we shall. I don't really love where our rifleman is. Okay, that's a Victor. Noted. The rifleman might want to engage these guys with pot shots. We'll see what that ends up looking like. The LRM carrier I'm going to position here in cover.
I'm your
And
sting.
our jerry-rig demolisher is absolutely going to head up over this way. Okay, I want to crush this lance before these guys become too much of an option. Or of an obstacle, I should say. Cool. Why did we just get ECM protected over here just now? Okay, whatever. I guess that's fine. So we're going to have this Archer moving, or actually that's an Apollo moving very shortly. What do you got going on, Apollo? Yeah, it's potentially going to do a decent amount of damage, but we'll see what the AMS does. Keep in mind, we move pretty late compared to them. So they're going to get to move pretty considerably before we do. The Apollo backs off and does not fire.
I've got your back.
Okay. I'm going to move the crossbow up over here. 5 evasive, plus we're in cover. We can fire on any of these, and the Thunderbolt is the highest hit odds here. I think we'll take this, even though this is front arc compared to the side arc of that Marauder. We'll just soften up the T-Bolt here, and let's see what we can get done. AMS from the Apollo there, triggering laser AMS. We did hit a pilot cockpit hit there, but they managed to shoot down 15 of those with the laser AMS on that Apollo. So that is definitely noted. That Archer's moving in and attacking our LRM carrier. It missed everything there. But the LRM carrier does have very low amounts of armor, so we need to keep that in mind. The LRM carrier might be fighting out over here, or it might be tossing missiles up this way. But for now, wow, this frame rate, though. We're trying to calculate what this Marauder is doing, and that's definitely impacting the frame rate. No doubt about that. So what's this Marauder going to do? It's a dual PPC AC5 variant, which is not a hugely threatening variant of the Marauder. Fires on our Devastator and gets some front arc damage there. Okay. The Devastator's not the highest armor unit in the world. I would actually prefer that it have a little more armor than it does, but its front arc armor is pretty good. So that's all reasonably fine. Phase 18 here, they're going to move their T-Bolt. So let's see what they do with it. Also focus. Oh, they backed off with it. Okay,
Waiting for
noted.
orders.
So our Bandersnatch is here, right? And we could position like this, which is indeed exactly what I'm going to do. We can fire on this Marauder. Hit odds are not great. We can also fire on this Vulcan. Hit odds are similarly not great. I'm wondering, did we fail our sensor roll? Because I would expect higher hit odds on this Marauder here. Oh, it's got 6 evasive. Okay, never mind. That would be why. I'm not going to fire the ER medium lasers, and we'll just soften up
Here
this
we
Marauder
go.
a little bit. It is our best hit odds, and we can continue to work up the laser AMS on the Apollo out over here. Its heat is going to be building up from this. But yes, its laser AMS is absolutely doing work right now. So the other Marauder moves in, and what's it going to fire on? Also the Devastator, perhaps? Yes. It hit literally everything there on 5 evasive. Oof, that was painful. So the Devastator has exposed structure here. That's really not good. Like, that's really, really not good. The good news is all of these units have already moved. I'm going to fire on this Marauder because of hit odds.
Target acquired.
But that is incredibly unfortunate that they managed to hit that much with 5 evasive. I mean, 5 evasive isn't the most evasive in the world, but they did a lot of damage to that Devastator. No doubt about that. A little bit of AoE damage over here.
Minimal damage on
The
that
question
hit.
is, do we want
Reporting
to
minor damage.
eject the Devastator and save it, or do we want to risk it?
Ready for orders.
I don't know yet. We'll find out. For now, I want to move up our Black Knight over here. And I want to be firing on... Well, it's going to be this guy. We could stray shot.
Won't happen.
And we did do some stray shotting there. So that's good. We're definitely having a hard time hitting them, and they don't appear to be having a hard time hitting us.
Waiting for order.
Our rifleman is, based on its positioning, almost certainly going to be firing on this Vulcan.
On it.
Okay, we did manage to hit that with one of those ERPPCs, so that's something.
I'm receiving you.
Next up is our Grasshopper, which is going to be engaging out over here. And I want to put it up in this cover. So we'll just
On my
move
way.
it in, and we'll
Double
pot
tap.
shot the AC-20.
Primitive.
Okay, we didn't hit the AC-20, but that's not shocking. So the Vulcan will close in a little bit here. That Devastator is certainly not in the best of state right now. The question is, would we just instantly lose it if it were to be blown up? Okay, we stray-shotted our crossbow there a bit. We're having a really hard time hitting these units, and they are not having a hard time hitting us. That's for sure. So we'll see what we can do about that. For now, I'm going to bring up our Nidhogg up to about here.
On my way.
And on this Marauder, I'm going to drop our AoE rockets. In fact, we're just going to open up with everything. I want to start eliminating some of these units quickly. So that's a dead Marauder. That's what we want to see.
Enemy down.
Yes, we did burn a lot of our ammo on the
Multiple
Nidhogg.
weapons with no
Absolutely we did. But that Marauder is dead, and that is the more threatening
solid hit.
Marauder. This Marauder is significantly damaged, and it is unsteady. The Victor moves up, does not fire. Okay. So next up would be our LRM carrier. And the LRM carrier, I would like to see getting an unbroken LOS. We might end up leaving it where it's at. I mean, this is incendiary ammo. I don't want to fire incendiary, but standard will be similar. Yeah. 44.7. Okay, light him up. We're going to get more laser AMS there. Structure exposure, AC5 destruction on that Marauder.
That
Okay,
is something good.
so that's all good.
Order.
Next up, our jerry-rigged demolisher. I want this guy to move up. I don't like this angling. This angling is a bit better.
I am
So we're going to
aware.
position it here. And I'm not going to fire the eye rockets, but I'm going to fire everything else, including crit fishing with the MGs. That didn't do so well, but that's okay. Next up is going to be our Epimetheus, and we can position that about here, looking to fire on that Marauder again.
The shot.
Okay, that's pretty much all armor damage there. I don't think we got anything internally with either of those last two shots, which is sad, but we're doing a lot of damage to this guy. Now, the Devastator needs to position somewhere very careful. Like, we need to protect our right side here, or actually our left side. So we need to be positioning, like, out over this way. It's grim. No doubt about that. And we're going to fire on this Marauder. Hit odds are really low here. We failed our sensor roll. Okay, fair enough.
Copy that.
Well, that got some internal damage there. Was it enough to knock down the Marauder? The answer is no.
Critical hit.
Failing that sensor roll was rough. No doubt about that. Okay, phase 22. So what are they going to move? Well, they could easily bring their Thunderbolt around here and go for our Devastator. That would be a problem. No doubt about that. Okay, the Vulcan is meleeing our Grasshopper in the rear arc. It did manage to hit on 5 evasive, which is sad. Okay. The Grasshopper is reasonably okay.
Reporting critical hit.
Wait, what got crit there? What's in here? I don't see anything that got critically hit there. But they did break through the armor in that location. Okay, so phase 21 is now going to be this Apollo. And we'll see what it does. We've worked up its heat a lot with AMS. It moves in and goes for the jerry-rig Demolisher. Okay, it did a lot of damage to it. No doubt about that.
Getting stripped off.
Okay, so next up is going to be something. This Marauder is the answer. Yikes. Okay. We've had some very awkward rolls here. There's no doubt about that. The failed sensor roll on our Devastator was not good. That's for sure. This Marauder moves up, and it's going to go for the Epimetheus, actually. It could have gotten the kill on the Devastator there.
I'm under heavy fire.
But it chose not to, and that's a good thing. Now this Thunderbolt is the question. Is that going to go for the kill on the Devastator? Well, the Thunderbolt isn't actually moving yet. Okay, so next up is our Crossbow. From this position, the Crossbow has a really decent shot on this Marauder, as well as on the Apollo. I'm going to go for the Marauder here. I would really like to take it down. It's got 5 evasive, and what do we have going on here? Yeah, just into forest. Okay.
Have some of this. Take
AC5 ammo explosion, and he's gone. Fantastic. That's what we wanted to see. Now the question is, what are we going to see from this T-Bolt? Does this move now? Yes. Yes, it does. Demolisher? Grasshopper. Okay. That's reasonably fine.
Systems holding.
For right now. So next up is going to be our Bandersnatch. Now the Bandersnatch could choose to go rear arc on this Vulcan, or we could fire on the Apollo. Now obviously the Apollo is a little bit of a problematic target because of its AMS, but we can start to trigger the AMS a little bit and bring it, you know, down a bit. But it's got that integrated advanced laser AMS. Yeah, it's a lot. So we're going to hit the Apollo here and see. It actually didn't utilize its AMS there, I don't think. No, it didn't. So its AMS is currently disabled. That's a very big deal. So I want to move our crossbow up. I don't love this flame position here, but I'm going to position ourselves there anyway. It's not ideal. Only 42% hit odds on these MRMs due to from burning forest, yeah. Like I said, it's not ideal. But we'll soften up the Apollo a little bit here. Looks good. Next up, let's bring our rifleman. I'm wondering about this shot. Yeah, I don't love it. I'm going to reserve.
I'm going to hold here.
Okay, so they're going to have 2 moves here. All of these guys have already moved. So this is going to be their Victor and their Atlas moving up. Okay, a little bit of AoE damage into our LRM carrier. For the time being, that's acceptable. So next up is our Grasshopper. The Grasshopper really probably should get out of this position. We could back it off here and kick the rear arc of their Vulcan. It's 7 evasive and only 38% hit chance there. So I don't think that's really worth taking. Instead, we could position it about here, but I really don't like the T-Bolt's positioning for that. The Nidhogg might be able to do something about that, but it's going to be rough. This is going to be right side that we have the armor exposed on, which, I mean, any way we slice it is going to be tough here. I don't love it, but we need to get the Grasshopper out of the line of fire.
Firing full salvo.
So we'll see what we get done there. It's not a lot. I'm not shocked about that. That Vulcan has a lot of movement right now.
Watch my heat. Take
Okay.
damage.
So the Thunderbolt needs to be a target for our Nidhogg. 100%. That Victor moves up, fires on the Grasshopper there. Okay. That's fine for now. The Grasshopper needs to be moved, but that was all we could do with it for right now. So the Marauder is going to step forward, possibly this way, possibly this way. I think we go for that Apollo.
Moving out.
Hit odds on the Apollo are still not phenomenal. Yeah. Height differential is a little difficult there. And it's not actually technically skylined. So that's fine for now. We did get a head hit there. That's a good sign. Okay. Next up is our jerry-rig Demolisher, which that's going to position right here. And we're going to fire on this Apollo. And I'm going to use eye rockets on it too.
Target acquired.
Okay, so we got a decent amount of decreased
Not
target
short-range
cooling
missiles.
on that Apollo. Sounds good. We're out of eye rockets, of course, but that's fine. Next up is going to be our Black Knight. The Black Knight could get side arc there. We could also get rear arc on this Vulcan, but I don't think hit odds are worth taking that when we can go for the side arc on this Thunderbolt instead. So let's do that. Let's work on eliminating this Thunderbolt where we can. Softening up that side arc a bit. Looks good. And next up is our Devastator. Now the Devastator really kind of just needs to be withdrawn. If we were to position it here, this is exposing its left side. So we need to make sure that its right side is exposed, right? It's going to be awkward any way we slice it. I want to withdraw it out this direction, but we kind of can't. Okay, let's see what we can do here. I think this is a clean shot, or clean enough. I was really hoping to hit something there to make the Apollo unsteady. Sadly, it didn't happen. We hit nothing there, but that's, I guess, okay. So next up is going to be our Nidhogg. And the Nidhogg absolutely needs to move into rear arc on this T-Bolt. And we're going to do that. We're going to fire everything we've got here in bomb mode. Yes. High explosive bomb is the best we can do for right now.
Firing.
We missed our snub-nosed PPC, which is very sad.
Reporting. Multiple weapons with no ammo.
Okay. So the Thunderbolt took some damage there, but absolutely not anything major. The Epimetheus can position here. We could fire on that Vulcan's rear arc. We could fire on the Apollo. We could fire on the Thunderbolt. I think the Apollo is the option here, but it's not a great option, right? We can turn down these medium lasers, or get rid of them all, in fact. Missing our autocannon again there, but we do get a few missile hits in there. The question is that enough to make him unsteady, and does he move instantly after that? He is unsteady now, so that is good.
Confirmed.
But the LRM carrier probably wants to fire on the Vulcan. Like, we need to get this Vulcan in some way taken care of, right? So we'll soften up his rear arc a bit there. That'll be okay for now. And now we can fire with our riflemen in this rear arc. We'll see what we get done there. We could eliminate it. Structure exposure and ECM jamming on the Vulcan. But sadly, that's all we got. Okay, so next up is phase 21. Okay, that's going to be this archer. Firing on our Epimetheus. And getting a head hit.
Commander,
Awkward.
I'm
Okay.
hit.
We are having some very strange luck here. No doubt about that. Well, that's okay. We'll get these guys eliminated soon enough. Next up is going to be phase 19. Yeah, we just move very late. They're continuing to focus on that Epimetheus, and they are just hitting everything.
My armor's getting stripped off.
This whole time, the Epimetheus, or not just the Epimetheus, but everybody is hitting everything on their side this whole time. It's very awkward. No doubt about it. We are getting very terrible luck on the enemy missing. That said, when we're finally able to move, we'll be able to do something about this. The Epimetheus is definitely in a rough situation. And the Vulcan's going to move up and hit the Grasshopper again. Yeah, that's not surprising. It manages to hit its melee attack. Again, not surprising at this point. Yep, hitting literally everything there.
Hard hit there. I'm generating a lot of heat here.
Yes,
boss.
you are.
Need
Okay, so the
something.
crossbow at this point is going to fire on this Apollo. We finally have some hit odds here, so that's a good sign. Light him
All
up.
weapons are go. Let's
Okay,
get
so
this
structure
done.
exposure, LRM ammo explosion, and the Apollo's gone. So that's beautiful. Next up is phase 17. That is going to be their Thunderbolt. The Thunderbolt is probably going to fire on the Epimetheus, and we should be actually it backed off. It went for the Nidhogg. It did miss a couple there, so that's good. The Nidhogg is pretty hard to hit. So it didn't actually hit literally everything that time. So that's good. The Bandersnatch can start to advance out over here. We could fire on that Victor. Hit odds are actually decent on that. And I think that's what we're going to do. Victors don't have all that much armor, so let's start softening that up now that we can do that. We'll even fire our ER medium laser here. Cool. So that looks reasonably good. Next up is going to be, oh wow, Savarok is down to 1 HP. This is his first deployment, by the way. Okay, well, I would like to position our crossbow somewhere marginally useful. The question is, do we want to go here and fire on that T-bolt? We can't actually see its armor from here. I think I'm just going to move it down over this way. And that'll be fine for now.
Yes,
Next would be our rifleman, and I want the rifleman to start to advance out over here.
Location
The Vulcan
confirmed.
we have 55% hit odds on, and that's actually the highest hit odds that we have.
Acknowledge.
Okay. Well, we got an ERPPC in there anyway. But we are absolutely getting pincered here, and they are shooting really, really well. I want to make that very clear. They are getting very, very good shots off. So we can go rear arc on this Vulcan. Reasonable hit odds on that, actually. Do it.
Got it, Commander.
Fair amount of stray shot there, and we don't get anything reasonably
Under heavy
useful
fire.
inside of the Vulcan. We'll get to move our Grasshopper very soon, but not yet. They get to move somebody here in phase 12. Probably the Atlas. Yep. Atlas moves up, fires on the Bandersnatch indirect, still firing those AoE rockets, and that's okay for now.
Armor holding.
Okay. Well, at this point, our Grasshopper absolutely needs to attempt to get somewhere safer. These are terrible melee positions. I was hoping to get back behind him, but with that Flamer, our heat is too high. So, okay. We'll fire on the Vulcan here, but this is going to get really, really painful really, really soon. We did manage to melee the Vulcan, so that's good. And we did a lot of damage to it. But my question isn't about what the Vulcan is going to do. My question is about what are they going to do to this grasshopper? That's gonna be very painful. I think that's very clear. We can position our Marauder here, and it can take a pot shot out at this Victor, and we're absolutely going to do that with our UAC-5. And we missed both of them. Okay. That is reasonably fine.
Negative damage.
Okay, so next up is our Nidhogg. And the Nidhogg wants to position somewhere around here, continuing to fire into the rear arc of this T-bolt. I want that T-bolt under control.
Firing on rear arc.
That's a fair amount of internal damage there, but absolutely 0 crits. Sad.
Ready to rock.
Next up would be our LRM carrier, and the LRM carrier is probably going to stay put and just fire on this Vulcan.
Fun time.
Okay, so the Vulcan is out of here. Fantastic.
I need a new target.
Indeed you do. Very soon now we are going to... They have a phase 11 mover. Oh, this is a Victor. Okay. The Grasshopper is going to be in danger here. But they fired on the Bandersnatch, actually. With splash damage out over here. Gotcha.
That hit hard.
Okay, so that all seems reasonably fine. We can take our Demolisher out this direction, and that's exactly what we're going to do. And I'm going to potshot this Victor. There's not a lot we can do other than try to soften it up a bit. And we do get 1 hit there. So we'll take that. Next up is going to be our Devastator. Now, the Devastator still needs to be disengaged. It is out of armor, and there's not much we can do about that.
Good to go.
Our Epimetheus here. Savarok is really close to dead. This is his first deployment. I want to be clear about that.
Regain.
And the Epimetheus is basically out of armor as well. We want to protect the right-hand side if we can. So we just turn it and move it kind of like this, and we're disengaging the Epimetheus as well. Okay, next round, we've got our crossbow. The crossbow is going to move down over this way for a clear LOS on that Victor. And we have good hit odds here, so let's soften that armor on up. Okay. The Victor's armor is definitely softening. That archer moves up and goes for a Bandersnatch, hitting virtually everything yet again. Like I said, they're shooting really well. I mean, yeah, we only have 2 evasive there, but at that range, that's a good shot. So we're going to move our Bandersnatch up over here. We can fire on their archer, or we can fire on that Victor. The Victor is obviously the better hit odds.
Roger that.
Okay. We're continuing to build up a fair amount of damage on the Victor. He loses his evasive. He moves in phase 12. So we might have an opportunity to do some decent damage to him. But we move pretty late here. Their Thunderbolt is going to fire on our Nidhogg. Okay. That's fine. I'm getting a decent number of hits there, but it's only 5 evasive, so whatever. Next up is our Grasshopper. And the Grasshopper really needs to try to disengage up this direction. Unfortunately, this is all the further we can go. So we're going to position up over here, and we're just going to potshot the AC-20 up here and the SRM-4.
Firing.
We did not hit. We didn't really expect to hit. The Grasshopper needs to move, but it kind of can't. Okay, so next up is the Rifleman. The Rifleman is absolutely heading in over this way. Heat is a little bit high, so we can't really fire this ERPPC.
Target confirmed.
But we can get some damage into that Victor. The ERPPC didn't hit there, but the autocannon did. Okay, that's not ideal for sure, but the Victor is losing armor. So that all looks good. Our Crossbow X is going to position down over here.
Copy that.
And we can fire the MRMs into the side arc of this Victor. This is going to do a lot of damage. So that's a structure exposure, as well as a couple of medium pulse laser destructions. That's a very good sign. We are lessening the Victor's impact, but its LBX autocannon is still present. So that's definitely not ideal. We'll position our Marauder here and continue to pummel this Victor. We missed the tag, but we did manage to hit one of those UAC shots. Okay, the Victor gets to move now, but it's significantly damaged. It's firing on the Bandersnatch. Okay. The Bandersnatch's armor is certainly weakening.
Okay, that was bad.
No doubt about that.
Making
But
it
we're
hard
going
out
to
here,
get
Commander.
that Victor eliminated very,
I'm
very
catching
soon.
some serious
So the Black
shit here,
Knight can
Commander.
position about here. We can fire on any of these that we
Onward.
choose to. We're probably going to fire on the Victor. Yes, we're going to fire on the Victor here.
Locked and loaded.
Right into that torso. Okay. Explosion containment there. The
Boarding
Victor is
critical
back to being... Actually, I think he got knocked down from that. Not quite. Not quite knocked down, but he is back to being unsteady, and that's a very good sign. So they're continuing to attack us up over here with their AoE missiles. Eventually,
Light damage,
we'll be able to do
Boarding
something
heavy
about this.
fire.
So for now, I want our jerry-rig demolisher. I actually kind of want this to come up here and engage that T-bolt. So we're going to move up to about here. Actually, maybe slightly back. Here.
Commander. Roger that.
And we're going to fire on him in this side arc with everything we've got.
Target.
Broke through the armor there. Head hit, pilot injury.
Inflicted some heavy damage.
We actually got multiple head hits there. He resisted one. So that's a good sign. Yeah, right in that torso. Okay, nice.
Standing by.
The Nidhogg is... Do we want to hit the front here or the rear? I want to hit the rear. And we're going to need to sprint out over... Ooh, okay, we're going to have to be in minimum range here. Definitely not necessarily ideal. But let's hit this rear arc on this people. I want it gone.
Target locked. Let's hit them hard.
Unfortunately, it's not gone. We did a lot of damage to it, and it's unsteady.
I am out
But it
of
is
short
still
range
alive.
missiles.
Barely.
Reporting.
So next up is our
Standing
LRM carrier. The LRM carrier is going to position about here, and we're going to continue to hit that Victor. I expect this to knock down the Victor. Excellent. So that's a Victor knockdown. And we're just going to continue focus firing the Victor. It doesn't get to move for a good long time.
Standing by.
Now, our Epimetheus is still in the process of withdrawing. I'm going to position that here for now.
On my way.
And we're going to pot shot out at the Victor with our MRMs.
Target acquired.
Cool. We got an engine crit out of that,
Reporting critical hit.
but that's not ideal necessarily. So the Victor is still alive. There's a lot of them still alive, actually. And our Devastator is just chilling back over here. That is absolutely withdrawn at this point. I'd like to withdraw our Grasshopper as well. The Archer is firing on the Black Knight. Okay, the Black Knight's fresh, so I don't mind that.
Losing armor.
It did a lot of damage to the Black Knight, don't get me wrong, but
Waiting
that is a
forward.
good thing. So the crossbow is going to position about here. I want to check on those hit odds. They're pretty good on the Archer, but obviously the Victor can easily die here, and that is the goal. We're going to have the crossbow kill the Victor.
Hell yeah.
There we go. No problem there.
neutralized.
And then there were 3. So next up is going to be our Rifleman, which is going to position out over
Position
here.
confirmed.
We're going to fire on that Archer. With everything we've got, decent hit odds here. The Archer doesn't have all that much armor either. Yeah, that was really quite good hits there. I think we hit all 3 of those PPCs. No, we only hit 2. Okay, that is still okay. So the Crossbow X is going to be advancing out this direction. The only one it can hit here is the Thunderbolt, and we're going to take that.
Copy that.
That Thunderbolt is still alive.
Take that as a lesson.
He ejects, though. Okay. That would have been remarkable if he had still survived that. So our Nidhogg is, of course, down to only having its snub-nose PPC, right? And we're going to head in over here. I think that the snub-nose PPC is out of range. So the Nidhogg is going to advance. We cannot fire.
Good to go.
Our Bandersnatch has been taking a fair amount of fire. We probably want to protect our right-hand side here.
Right, Commander.
And we're going to fire on this Archer. So I think the ER medium lasers are a fair thing to shoot here. Maybe not this one.
Right, Commander.
Structure exposure on the Archer. And we did destroy
Critical
one
hit,
of its
Commander.
ER large lasers. So that's very, very good.
My heat's getting pretty
Beautiful.
high.
The Black Knight is going to advance out over here.
Position confirmed.
And we're going to fire on that Archer with our large lasers.
confirmed.
Okay, we hit one large laser there. Sounds good. Next up is our Marauder. We'll position it about here and continue to throw fire into this archer. We don't have LOS on that Atlas yet, but once we do, it'll die pretty quickly to this withering focused fire.
Reporting critical hit.
But the archer is absolutely the priority right now. The Atlas is going to advance, and we should get LOS on it here. Firing indirect on our Black Knight. Okay. I like that.
Systems holding.
That's not a problem at all. That's absolutely great, in fact.
Commander?
So our Grasshopper is the next one. And honestly, I want the Grasshopper to just
Roger that.
chill out over here. We don't want it to have LOS on things. The LRM carrier, on the other hand, I absolutely want to fire on this archer. This will be our last round of standard ammo, but that's okay.
Here we go. Oh, hell yeah.
And that archer is in really bad shape right now. That was an LRM Artemis ammo explosion. The explosion was contained, but the archer was knocked down, and look at how overheated it is. It can't really do anything at this point. The Epimetheus, moving back over here is a bit dangerous. I'm going to do it just to lob some MRMs at this archer, but it's absolutely dangerous.
Target confirmed.
I'm hoping that that causes the archer to eject, but it didn't. Okay, so next up would be our jerry-rig demolisher, and we need to just bring that down over here. It doesn't have LOS on anything, so that's fine for the moment. And our Devastator is at the map edge. I'm just going to brace it. Okay, so next up is our crossbow, and the crossbow is going for the kill on this archer. I do expect the kill to happen here. This is our last ER ammo,
Let's go.
but that's one dead archer.
Hostile eliminated.
Okay,
I'm out of long
next
range
up, of course, is that Atlas, and it's only got 3 evasive right now. The question is, do we want to reserve and let it move? The danger is the Epimetheus, but I'm going to do it.
I'm holding action.
So far, it hasn't been good in its target selection. Ow. 3 heat sinks and an ER medium laser on the Bandersnatch. Okay, so that's fine. We can replace all of that. I'm going to move the Grasshopper out over here,
Affirmative.
and we're going to start sending some absolutely withering fire at this Atlas. Light him up.
Targeted for now.
Good hits there. We did hit with the AC-20. That is a big deal. Okay, so next up is our Rifleman. The Rifleman's going to position down over here. We're not going to sprint, but we are going to close in a little bit. And we're going to fire on the side arc of this Atlas. Good hit odds here. Okay, we hit both of those ERPPCs. Sounds good. So he's got the ECM jamming. Next up is going to be our LRM carrier. At this point, we've got Incendiary and SAM missiles. So we're just going to fire the Incendiaries at this Atlas. And we're going to heat him up a bit.
Go.
Okay. And we also increased his instability and did some decent armor damage there. I'll take it. The jerry-rig demolisher is going to position here. We're going to fire absolutely everything we can.
Engaging target.
His armor is not going to withstand this for long. He is now unsteady. That is a very good sign. Next up is our Nidhogg, which I'm going to position up over here, and we're going to fire the Snubnose.
Locked on target.
Another good hit there.
It's on.
Fantastic. And our crossbow. This is where the damage is really going to start to come in, and I'm even going to remember to use Warlord if we have it. Magus does not have Warlord, apparently. Bandit and Escapist, but not Warlord. Okay. Never mind then. We could just offensive push. And that's absolutely something we can do here. So we're going to fire MRMs. MRMs do not have the greatest of hit odds here, but an offensive push is, I think, reasonably decent. Are we actually offensive pushing here? I'm not sure we are. Okay, now I think it went. These hit odds went up a lot. Okay, looks good. Cool. So we bring that up a decent amount, the instability, and a lot of damage dealt to this Atlas, particularly in that side flank, which is exactly what we want. The Bandersnatch wants to protect its right side here, so we want to angle it like this. And we're going to continue to fire at this Atlas, but we're not firing our medium lasers, especially with those heat sink destructions. Structure exposure, and the Atlas is gone.
Enemy down.
Okay, we took more damage than I would have liked there. Like I said, they hit everything in like the first half of that, and we hit almost nothing in the first half. It was a little rough, no doubt about that. But we didn't end up taking irreparable damage. We took a fair amount of damage, I'm not going to lie. Especially in the Bandersnatch, the ER medium laser, I'm pretty sure we can replace. I'm like 45% sure of that. We can definitely replace the heat sinks. Everything else ended up being pretty decent, but there was a lot of damage taken there. And I mean, to a large degree, it's because of that flanking position that they had, right? But sure, that worked out reasonably well. We got a good amount of payment. It will be profitable, but we're going to have to take the financial report before we get these repairs done, I'm pretty sure. We definitely can't get this Atlas part, and I'm not sure we even want it. There is a clan ERPPC, an LBX AC-20. Do we have any ammo for the LBX AC-20? There is some here in the roulette. Let's see what we get. We did not get it. Okay, that's sad. So we can't utilize that just yet, but we did get an Atlas part anyway, and an endosteel structure. That's not too bad. But these repairs are going to be extensive. No doubt about it. It's going to be very painful on that front. Well, let's see what this ends up looking like. I'm expecting at least 400,000. It's a lot. It's going to be a lot. And we'll have to do some internal repairs on, for sure, the Bandersnatch, and I think some others. I think. But yeah, that hurt. It was painful. But it was mostly only painful because they were hitting everything, right? Our evasive was getting us absolutely nothing done, which was sad. No doubt about that. Well, not absolutely nothing, but it was getting very little done. Yeah, about 400,000. It was painful, certainly. 62 days for repairs. That's not the real number of days for repairs, of course. That Epimetheus is going to be the bigger one. Okay. The Bandersnatch should absolutely be high priority here. It's going to take some time to get these repairs done, but we'll need to get that underway. It is well past time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to get these repairs finished, and we're hopefully going to get either Brick or Savarok back. Savarok was really close to death on his first deployment there. That didn't go well for him. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadowwolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time. I should have split this one into 2 episodes, clearly.